Well, let's get started live this morning. Getting here about a minute early, actually. Let me move a few things around here. Oh, man. See if I can get started. Hope all the settings are right. I'm trying to get over here this morning and at the dealership and kind of well, hey, Joey. Hey, Josh. Glad to see some people jumping in here early. I turn this around. I got a light. This kind of knocking me. Again, I don't know what kind of shadow I need here. Well, hey, Patrick. Yeah, it's afternoon for you, isn't it? Yeah, I'm trying to get my lighting a little bit better here. Okay, that seems to be pretty good right there. I had some lights kind of washing me out a little bit. And trying to get the right exposure and everything. Sometimes you can get it, sometimes you can't. Yeah, 3:00 in the afternoon there. Yeah, well, it's 9:00 in the morning out here on the east coast of the U.S. It's 9:00 in the morning, and I'm trying to get started. I hope everything looks good. Give me a few thumbs up if I can, and I hope everybody's having a good morning. It's chilly out here this morning. It was 42 degrees when I got up this morning. Well, good. I'm glad the quality's good and everything. I'm trying to put forth a good program and good quality, as far as audio and visual. I like to have that good. And, then we'll work hard to have good content too. I've been busy this week. Of course, the biggest thing that takes precedent in my life, I guess, is my rehab and everything. I'm coming along pretty good with that. Trying to get my physical shape in better shape. My wife says I have one less chin than I used to have. Hey, Jim, how are you this morning? So I'm trying to get my physical appearance in better shape. Since I've got the inside working better right now, I need all the rest of it too. Yeah. Hey, Brian, how are you? First time watcher. Okay. Found you on the tube, huh? Well, where are you from, Brian? I try to find out. I've got them all over the map this morning. I can tell you, Patrick, of course, Heavy Machinery is from Austria. Hey, Blake, how are you? Follow us there and up there around the Cincinnati area. You got to follow up there too, hadn't you? Yep. Indiana. You've owned trucks since '95. Well, I'm an old. Now, are you owner operator, Brian? I suppose you are. I'm a contractor with FedEx. I've been with them for 33 years, going on my 34th year right now. Well, hey, Chris, glad to see you in here. I've missed you a couple of broadcasts and everything. Glad to see you made it in this morning. Get you awakened this morning because it's about 8:00 out there and out there where you're at. Okay, now Brian, now you're contracted to someone also. Are you with FedEx or another company like that, like I am? Yeah, the authority. I actually have my own authority for. I've got it dormant right now. Okay, you're leased on too. Okay, good. Now, Now, am I reading it right, Brian? Are you with FedEx? I'm gonna make you a moderator here too, Brian. Since you're even though you're a newbie, I think you'll make us a good moderator. Yeah, it's good to be leased on to some of these good companies. I've had a good fortune with FedEx and been able to grow, and one day I'll be able to sell my business. It's a situation that I've grown it to a certain level, and they in the past. Well, since about 2000, when FedEx actually took over away from RPS, they let us own our own routes, which really gave us a lot of clout and gave us something to sell. And I'm very, very tickled that. Yeah, I'm back at the store. I'm over here. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Yeah, I'm back over here at the store, back over here at my Napa store, and trying to get back to a normal situation. My feed is always good over here. I like using my Napa store's got a good high speed access. The one at the shop, I'm gonna have to either bump it up or something because it doesn't seem to have the bandwidth that the one over here does. And I'm using some of the same equipment, so it's got to be the bandwidth. Oh, so you released the Great White. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're doing pretty good, Joey. Yeah, I'm hanging in here. This, like I said, I'm kind of glad to see the weather changing a little bit. Yeah, I get plenty of rest. I get so much rest, my tailbone gets tired. I told my wife the other day I got to get up and walk around and do some things because sitting in one position for a long period of time wears your body out that way. That's 43 there in New York, is it? Yeah, it was 42 this morning. I think it's up to 47 now. I checked the thermometer on the car coming in. Yeah, you better get that concrete before it gets down below freezing, hadn't you? Uh, I You don't want to have to add any antifreeze into it or whatever. Yeah, yeah. It's still good weather for pouring concrete right now. I mean, it is here, and I would, I think it works just fine. Yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you what, you laying in a hospital bed for over a week. Now that was traumatic. I didn't like that at all. I mean, they got me up and had me walking a little bit, but having to just lay in the same position day in and day out for over a week and a half. I mean, that was not my favorite situation. It wasn't favorite at all. Hey, Ag Tech, how are you? How is it up there in the Canadian land? It's a little bit chilly down here this morning for us. Yeah, yeah. You got to, of course, with it tumbling and everything, it wouldn't freeze. I wouldn't think. I mean, it would have to get awfully cold. How cold is it out there, Chris? It hadn't been that cold out here. I mean, I don't know what the Midwest is out there. Yeah, I they gave me permission to drive this past week, so that's why my wife is not out here. And boy, I'm tickled to death with that. I mean, I was like a kid getting his license for the first time. So I was tickled not to have my wife drive me out here. Well, it's not. We hadn't had the heat on yet. It's still warm in the house. Uh, we're, we're uh, just enough chill that I had a little bit of moisture on the windshield and wasn't frosty or anything like that. Yeah. Well, if you can get it ready next week or so, I think you'll be all right. And if you just have to do it midday, I've had to do that sometimes in the wintertime. Just I pour it like midday, 1 o'clock or something like that. Also, it's real nice now, is it, Patrick? Yeah. Now, Patrick, how in Austria, how far north in comparison to the U.S. would you be? Would you be more like the middle of the U.S. type situation, or the middle of the East Coast as far as climate and weather? I'm just because I always think of Austria as cold and snowy and everything else. Because you always think about the Alps and everything else out that way, and the Olympics. I think of the Winter Olympics too. Yep. Now I'm drinking vitamin water, guys. So I'm off of the Mountain Dew completely. I don't drink any carbonated drinks anymore. And this is vitamin water with zero sugar, zero caffeine, zero everything. Almost zero taste too, but it does have a little taste. A jaw crusher. Okay. Now, which kind of jaw crusher are you talking about? Just for the one that crushes up cement and everything? Or are you talking about one that just goes an attachment that goes on to like a skid steer? Yeah. Yeah. Chris is wanting to know too. Which one? You're talking about one that you dump cement into and crush it back up and that sort of stuff. Yeah, basically colored liquid. Yeah, it's orange colored water. Got a little bit of taste to it, but it's pretty good. It's better than just plain water. Uh, if you had to buy water, you might as well buy something like this. Yeah, I try to drink that. Like I said, I've been. Hey, Daniel, how are you? Yeah, we're out here doing our thing. Uh, you're looking at one that you can dump concrete into and asphalt, crush it, and make new road bed. Yeah. The only thing about it, if you get the concrete that's got rebar and everything in it, it'd be a mess like that, though, wouldn't it, Blake? Well, hey, Jersey trucker, I'm glad to see you in here too. Yeah, I'm doing better, guys. I appreciate all y'all's concern. Of course, I could show you a real wicked looking scar if I didn't when I'm running around home without my shirt on. I got a real wicked looking scar right now. Yeah, yeah. Everybody's saying hello to everybody. Hey, Everyday Fleet Tech. Yeah, so you're in Savannah this morning. I thought, are you down there visiting somebody? Now you live in Atlanta, don't you, Fleet Tech? I got a place near Savannah. I got a place over to Hilton Head. I hadn't got to go see it lately, but yeah, I like Savannah. Savannah's a real nice area. It's a when things are back to normal, it's a real fun place to visit and everything else. Everything else is it's like everything else right now. Everything's on hold. Down there on a mini vacation with the wife. Yeah. Well, is there anything open in Savannah right now? Is I guess some of the cafes, Georgia's opened up a lot more than North Carolina, way more than North Carolina. So yeah, maybe you can get out and go to some of the restaurants. And we love to go to get some of the fudge down there. I can't do it anymore now, but my wife, she likes the pralines and the fudge in one of those candy stores down there where they make it, right there as you see it. Everything's open. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, it's Savannah's a real nice area. I like Savannah. It has a lot of activity, and of course, I've already seen the history of it. I've walked around and rode around and everything else on all the tour, but my wife still likes to do it sometimes. But I pretty much say, we can get in our car and do the same thing. We want to, and not cost us $40. But it's good. It's good to view it once or twice, and to see that. And I've seen it probably more than once or twice. Yeah, yeah. As far as the mask and everything, I'm having to wear it when I go to. I'm not wearing one this morning, guys. I hope I'm not infecting anybody. Oh, okay. So you've got relatives or family down in that Savannah area, then, do you? Yeah, I'm trying not to affect uh, get anybody sick. I won't I won't cough on y'all. But yeah, it's getting funky out there. I mean, Everyday Fleet Tech actually had COVID. He could tell you about that. It was not fun. Fortunately, he is of the younger age, and it. And I know some other people that have caught it too. I know some up here. I know some up here that have passed away with it, but they're usually the elderly that have passed away. So they want you to wear a mask everywhere, are they, in Ontario? Okay. Well, we're going to have to adapt because it is an infectious disease. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there's too much of it that's gone around. Uh, I hope that uh, I hope that we'll get some sort of cure of it one of these days. I think we will. I think when I know it's bad that so many people have caught it, but in some ways that's probably a good point because there'll be antibodies that will be built up by all these people to have that. And then that with vaccines and everything else, I think there'll be some ways of, getting rid of this. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you go into grocery stores and some of these different stores around here, some of them are really, really strict. Uh, I think they can. I don't know. I mean, I think everybody's on their own on that. Oh, your wife went to SCAD. Well, they really built SCAD up. For people that don't know that, that's the arts thing down in Savannah. SCAD has really gone in there and really refurbished a ton of buildings, old mill buildings, old warehouses, everything else, and then they've actually built it into a college. Really, really nice situation there. Yeah, it's got its good points and its bad points. I think it's going to take a major infection of a lot of the populace to get enough antibodies and knowledge of what's going on to be able to combat it. It's like anything else that's new. I mean, it's a new type virus, so the scientists are just going to have to work as hard as they can to figure this thing out. Uh, Fortunately, like I said, of course, the news media wants to blow it out of proportion. Uh, they do, like they do everything. If it's not something that they can make something really dramatic, they don't want to, even talk about it. So they do their own crazy thing of making it sound, I think, even worse than it is. But that being said, it's serious, and we need to take it serious too. Hey, Renegade, how are you? Hey, Walter. Yeah, and there's I've heard of that too, Walter. Of insurances and hospitals and different things wanting to label things, and there's been a lot of misappropriations and mislabeling and really, I think, malfeasance on a lot of parts of people in power that are wanting to retain power. There's a big thing about the mayor of Nashville, Tennessee, this past week. I don't know if y'all heard that, and it was really, really bad. Hey, Montana, how are you? Yeah, I mean, when you start manipulating figures and when you start manipulating situations to favor your agenda, I think that that's a very bad thing. So, we've got a lot of people that should watch that. So you've got to use your own common knowledge and your own common sense to combat any of these things. And I think hopefully, with the scientists and everything that's coming down, and hopefully a vaccine and a few other things, maybe we'll be able to pull things out. Well, I mean, I don't think anything's as bad as some of them like to portray it. And some of them want to politicize, which I think is the worst thing they could do. Is, we're here dead in the middle of an election year, and they've tried to politicize this, and we all should be coming together trying to combat it, not politicize it. And that's the bad thing about what's going on. Now, Patrick, how are they doing in Austria? Of course, y'all don't have the political fervor that we have over here going on right now with the presidential election. Uh, are they politicizing it anyway over there, or are they trying to combat it pretty easy? Yeah, and that's what we're talking about, Jamie. I mean, the average age of the people that die from COVID is above 70, and unfortunately, I'm at that borderline, guys. I'm there. I am in the critical. Here I have had open heart surgery this past month, and then I've had, so I'm in that group, and I'll be 70 this next year, so I'm in the second group too. So uh, I'm I'm the guy that should be watching everything, and I do. I'm careful. Hello, Mr. Clark. How are you? Yeah, I'm still trying to be safe. I'm cautious. I don't go crazy about anything. I don't go around wearing a mask all the time. I wear a mask when it's appropriate, and I wear a mask when I feel like I could be jeopardizing myself in any way. But I don't wear one at home. Of course, I don't wear one when I come over here. Sometimes I've worn one here in my building, but I'm not over here that much unless I'm by myself. So I'm more an after hours guy over here at my store. So I'm not uh, you know doing any crazy things. But I have for years I've never been a handshaker. So I don't shake hands anymore with anybody. I might bump fist, and I don't try to do things that would put my health in jeopardy. Uh, I think, I mean, just as a general rule, you should be that way. I mean, you shouldn't be, trying to get too close to people unless it's your wife or lover or somebody. But I don't try to do anything crazy or anything like that. So I'm careful. So they're fighting about who's right and wrong over there too, are they, Patrick? Mm. Uh-oh. So there are already voting in Montana? Good gracious. This is why this election is going to be so weird. I've never seen a national election that is so fractured. Yeah, it's really really weird how fractured that we're becoming, and they're trying to change the demographics to favor different situations. I'm about to say the same thing, Blake, because the news media has been so disruptive, and even when you get on Facebook and some other things, that's one reason I sort of like YouTube, so you can actually congregate with the people that you like to talk to and get ideas and not be all mad and fussy and everything else. So I like that. I mean, if you like a community within YouTube, you stick to that. If you don't like them, go on to something else. So that's the yeah. Well, I don't know about Montana. Um, so Michigan's got it. Okay, Michigan's going to be one of the states to really watch. That's for sure. Like my state of North Carolina, we're really neck and neck down here. Yeah, they have the Democrats, and like I've told a lot of people, I'm an old registered Democrat, but I am a old registered Democrat that votes with my brain. And I'm telling you that I'm not. I don't align myself with the Democratic Party hadn't in 15 years because of how left wing they have gone. I mean, I am a centrist type person. I'm a middle of the road type guy, and I've always voted how I've wanted to vote for the past 50 years. And when I was young, the Democratic Party was not the same as it is right now. I mean, I come up with the John Kennedy Democratic Party and that sort of stuff, but it started leaving me early in my life, and uh, I kept finding myself voting non-democratic, and I've always done that. I stayed registered the same, a lot of it because of local elections and local primaries, but as far as the national way of thinking, I haven't thought the way the Democratic Party has in 15, 20 years. It's been really crazy. Yeah, exactly. You know, and I came up. I voted for Jimmy Carter. I like Jimmy Carter, although he didn't do that great. He was probably the nicest guy that was president that was a lousy president. And that's about the best way to describe him. He's a nice man. He's a nice man. He's a humanitarian. He's got, as far as a human being, Jimmy Carter is a good guy. As a president, he sucked. Now a lot of y'all guys are young. You don't remember it. I do remember it firsthand. I remember the gas lines. I remember the uh, all the turmoil that came about, and that's why Jimmy Carter was a one-term president too. And then Reagan got in, and Reagan did a really good job and kind of straightened out the U.S. And then Bush did so. Bush Bush 43, and then they ushered in Clinton, and you know, ever since then, it's kind of gone downhill. Uh, Yeah. Well, uh, Ruth Ginsburg, I see you're talking about her. I think, we're probably going to have another justice before the end of the year. I mean, they've got the right to do it, and they need it because of the way this election is going, and because of all the upheaval we've got within the system. I really think that we need that uh, any kind of justice sitting on the bench right now, so you don't throw it into a tie, and then have the chief that be the tiebreaker on that. So I think it needs to get squared up. Yeah, yeah. Bill Clinton was one thing, but his wife, boy, I'll tell you what. There's not a lot that I can say nice about Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I'm just this just can't. I mean, when you can see what really gets me is when you can see somebody somehow the justice system could not convict her of wiping clean all these servers and computers and cell phones. And how is that not an obstruction of justice? Is so bizarre to me. If that were you and I, and we had evidence like that, and we tried to wipe it clean, well, they'd throw us under the bus big time. But how she slipped by that is still beyond me. Yeah, yeah, I tell you, it doesn't take it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see through some of this evil that's within the, as they call it, the swamp that we have in the U.S. right now. I mean, there is a lot of evil and people, and really people from both parties. I'm not going to say it's all Democratic or all Republican. I'm saying both parties are inclusive in the fact that they have owned all this money and jobs and power in Washington, D.C., and they don't want to give it up. That's why we're having so much problem with the FBI, the CIA, well, not so much CIA, but FBI for sure, the Justice Department, all these different categories of people that are career employees, government employees, career. I mean, they've been there 30 years. They don't want to let go of that power. They don't care who the president is or vice president or anybody. They want their power because they feel like they're a very powerful entity within their own rights. And they just don't want to give it up. I wish they could. I wish they could, Jamie. I wish we could get away from having professional politicians. And they, like I said, in career. I have to sit up here a little bit, guys. I get a little bit sunk down in my seat. Okay, well that's pretty cool. Gerald Ford is an anomaly in himself. He's one of the only. I think there's only been two presidents that we've had in the U.S. You got to double check me, that have never been elected, and Gerald Ford is one of them. I think the other one was, who was it? Was it Tyler, John Tyler? One of them, somewhere about around the John Tyler era, because one of the presidents died right after his inauguration, and then that president, the vice president, took over, and then he was never reelected. And that's the same thing with Ford. Ford was never reelected. So he's if you ever own Jeopardy and you want to win something, then Gerald Ford is definitely he is an unelected president. He's one of the few that we've ever had like that. And not only term limits is uh, well, my okay. Hope I didn't buffer too much. My little sign said my signal was bad. Not only term limits, it's the fact that we've got career employees in Washington, D.C., or as they call it, the swamp. People that have been there for years, and they don't care if it's Democratic, Republican, or whatever. They want to hold on to that high official job they have with the government. But, I hope everybody, and one thing I do want to encourage everybody to do is, regardless of your conviction, regardless of what you're voting for, get out and vote, because this is going to be a real critical. I mean, in my 50 years of voting, I started voting in 71. So I've got right at 49 years, I guess, of voting. That this has been the most pivotal election I've ever seen in my life. This has been the most. It's really going to define where this nation goes in the future. I mean, I don't want to see it go socialist. This is one reason I'm saying that years ago I've kind of left the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party has gone socialist, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to see us go so left wing that is pathetic. I mean, when they're moderate, it's one thing. When they are the ones in power right now are power hungry, and they're going to cram everything down our throat and want the government to pay for everything. Well, they are. They are. Socialists are more like communists. People that say this is one reason, as the surveys show, that Trump has a larger appeal right now with the Hispanic, because they know he's fighting socialism, and most of them have migrated from socialist countries, and they don't want any part of socialism either. That's why they've left, Nicaragua, Ecuador, even parts of Mexico, and all these other Central American countries that have been overwhelmed. Venezuela, they've all been overwhelmed with communists. Oh yeah. BLM is definitely Marxist, and I do not understand how we've had so many corporations, and when this George Floyd thing popped up, and that they have just bowed down and gave money, tons of money, to this BLM movement, which is really going to come back and bite some people in the butt, and bite us in the butt, I'm afraid. Yeah, and I think you're right about that. You won't see Latinos because they know the difference of doing that. Well, travel and learn. I don't. You're new in here too. I'm glad to see you jump in here. I like seeing the different people, voice their opinion and jump in here. Yeah. Well, socialism is communism, in my opinion. My dad I've told it plenty of times. My dad fought in World War II, fought in Germany, and fought and helped liberate some of the concentration camps with the 82nd Airborne. And one of the most defining things he ever remembered doing, Dad, he could do bulldozer opera. He was trained and knew how to run a bulldozer from the farm days. He was instructed to dig a trench. He said probably 3 or 4 football lengths long, and they had to throw the bodies in that came from the gas chambers that were just rotten in the concentration camps. And they had the townspeople said General Eisenhower made them to go out and get the townspeople to come to see the travesty of what was going on in their communities. Now, Dad wasn't in Auschwitz. He was at one other one. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but it was just like Auschwitz. A lot of people know that name. But I was seeing a survey the other day, and it was talking about how badly that the young people have no concept about 65%, have no concept of the millions of people, the millions of Jews that were actually murdered in the gas chambers in Germany in World War II. And it's really a travesty that people like that don't remember. I remember my dad talking about it. I remember watching film strips of that when I was young. And today it's almost like it's non-existent to some people, and they don't realize that that can happen again. Yeah, law and order. I think that's going to be a key. I mean, so many people have seen the burning of America for the past 4 or 5 months, and the Antifa and just all the people, just anarchy, and to see these stupid mayors and governors that have just condoned it. I mean, who in their right mind would condone violence and then try to mask it as a peaceful protest? I mean, and I know all of y'all have seen it's almost comical because it's so crazy. It shows this reporter from CNN, and he was talking about the peaceful protests, and right behind him, there's buildings and people looting and the rioting, and the buildings are burning. And I mean, it's like, turn around, guy. Look right behind you, because there's a riot right behind you and you just don't see it. Yeah. Yeah. Walter, it's my dad always wanted to go back. I wish he had lived and been able to do that, lived long enough to have done it, and wish him and mom had done that. We had plenty of pictures of all that. Dad had some sort of like albums of stuff when he was over in Germany and Austria and all in that area, Switzerland. He talked about, he did an R&R in Switzerland one time, because I believe Switzerland was neutral. Yeah, I mean, the craziness, and I go back to what we've seen destroyed in the past couple of years with the statues being torn down. Regardless if you like it or if you don't like it, it's a statue. It's got a historical significance, whether you like it or don't like it. And we've got people destroying it. Now that to me is terrible. And we're letting our cities just go in there and take all this down. I mean, anything from Columbus to Andrew Jackson to even Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, and like I say, and Columbus, because they didn't like Columbus the way he did. We can't rewrite history. There is no way in the world that history needs to be or can be modified to suit the social or economic or the social feeling of today's people. I mean, if it was bad, you talk about it. I mean, if you got a monument down there of a Confederate soldier, you talk about it. This is a Confederate soldier. We don't like the Confederacy for this. I mean, there's the good points and the bad points of all these things, and people are just trying to destroy it, and it's terrible. Hey, Ralph, how are you? Ralph, I hope you're getting along good. You've had a lot of sickness and everything in the past. Of course, I'm joining you a little bit, Ralph. I had my quadruple bypass a month ago this past Wednesday, and I'm trying to get over that. So, we've got a strange world out there right now, and I hope people will be very serious and getting out and vote. Of course, I would like you to vote the way I feel, but whether you do or you don't, your right to vote is the important thing, and being able to express yourself is the right thing. And that's one of the things we're losing right now, because so many people are trying to take our rights away. And if you don't see that, that's a problem within itself. I mean, I think a lot of the Second Amendment people are really wising up and saying, I don't really like these people that are saying taking my Second Amendment away. I don't want to take any amendment away. Those amendments are there for a reason, and they've been in place for. I'm trying to think the last amendment to the Constitution. I'd have to look it up myself, but I know the women's right to vote was one of the amendments. I think that was the 19th Amendment. I think we've got 20, 21, 22 amendments to the Constitution. I have to think, because that to amend the Constitution is a very hard thing to do, because you've got to have 2/3, I think it is, of the states to agree to amend the Constitution. So it's not it's a states' rights thing, and it is also a I had to go back and check my history. I'm getting too old. I know a lot of history because I lived a lot of it, but you know, that's the way it is. Well, I agree with you. Travel and learn. Now, travel and learn. Now, where are you from? I don't. You're new onto the channel. I enjoy all having the new people in. You know, I love new people to come in and join our group. Arkansas, Russellville. Okay. Yeah. Now, Russellville, is that down below Fayetteville, Arkansas? I've been close to Russellville. I mean, of course, I'm like a lot of people. I've been through Arkansas on I-40, so it's either north or south of I-40. Yeah, he's a Razorback. Yeah, Razorbacks are good. The Southeast Conference, that's a tough conference there. I got a brother-in-law that's real. He's dying to wool, or dying to herringbone, I guess, Alabama. Yeah. You live right off. Okay. I was thinking I'd seen Russellville on my travels through Arkansas. I know of Fayetteville, Arkansas. And also there's a Forest City, Arkansas. The reason I know that, I used to have a store in Forest City, North Carolina, and it got rerouted to Forest City, Arkansas by some mistake. And so I always remember that. And I had no idea there was a Forest City, Arkansas. Yeah, I know it is. It's tough. I'm like a lot of people, and you too, probably. I'd like to get it over with. I'd like to get it over with and get on with our lives. And instead, we got another 45 days of this turmoil, and probably longer than that, and everything. So that's what we've got. Well, guys, want y'all? Let me give me some more thumbs up on my. Let's hit that bell down there. Let's hit the likes down here. I hope I can get more of them if I can. And so reach out there and hit the old thumbs up for me if you can. That helps my channel. And I try to improve the channel as best I can, and try to put forth some good discussion among people. I mean, I'm in the freight business, of course, and the Napa Auto Parts business, but I'm in there you go, heavy machinery. Yeah, help me get some more thumbs up out there. Well, Dana, I appreciate you jumping in here, and I appreciate your input every time you come in. Yep, I really do. Yeah, I know it. We've got to stress the fact that we do need. Everybody needs to get out and vote. Everybody needs to voice our opinion. There's a silent majority out here. I really believe that has not been taken for granted, and it always blows my mind. It did last election, which was 2016, and this election, 2020. You go to the Democratic things, and they got a handful of people. You go to something like a Trump rally, and they got thousands of people. And they keep saying, well, he's down in the polls. He's down. And I keep thinking, well, if he's so far down in the polls, you see these boat rallies, you see caravans of people. I'm trying to remember where it was. I saw one online, showed these caravans of people. They said they had, I think it was like 10 miles long, people carrying the banners of Trump on one of the interstates. And then, like I said, the boat rallies and just people out everywhere. And then they keep saying, oh, yeah, he's down in the polls. I'm thinking, well, where are all these people? Why aren't they coming out for Biden? Why are they not coming out and supporting his situation? I don't know. And when you go down the road, I don't see very many Biden signs out, period. But you see Trump supporters all over the place. Yeah, we need to make sure that we get everything. Clark, I use more Freightliners is what I use. I actually do, and I try to. The reason I do is because it's sort of like the Chevrolet of cars. You know, to me, Chevrolet or Ford of cars. The big trucks, basically. It's a comparison of that. Yeah, that's the way I am too. Well, I think the common sense people look at this, and like I said, and I'm not trying to push my agenda. I mean, I've got it, and I'm scared to death of what it's going to do. This country is going to go forward, and I just don't want to go in socialist. That's the scariest part for me is the fact that some of this could go socialist, and if that happens, it's going to be very bad. Now, like I said, I'm one of the old guys. I'm not going to be around as long as y'all guys. About didn't make it past August. Fortunately, for me, I did get the bypass surgery, and I'm still kicking, still running my mouth, and still giving my opinion, whether anybody likes it or not. But that being said, I have children and grandchildren, and I fear for their livelihood, and I fear for their situation for the rest of their lives. For my life, like I said, I'm on the back end. I'll be 70 come June. I'll be an older guy. Be cracking into another decade. I'm glad to be there. I'm glad to be as healthy, even though I've had this bypass surgery. I'm glad to be as healthy as I am, and be able to get around as good as I can, even though I'm that age. Well, and I'm a. Oh, y'all use mostly Max, Sterling. Now, Mac's a good truck. I used to own some Macs. I like Mac truck. I like the older ones. I don't care so much of the new ones that after Volvo took them over. But the older Macs now, Clark, I like. I like the Macs. I used to. I actually. Well, you can't see it, but on my shelf back here, I have a miniature of a B model Mac, an old B61 with the twin sticks. So I like Mac trucks. Yeah, I'm still a young gun, Blake. I'm just about ready to run out of ammunition is my problem. Well, I hope God does have a lot more plans for me, Montana. Hopefully he spared me and kind of gave me a wake up, Mike, wake up call and says, straighten your physical appearance out, straighten your life out there. And I'm trying to. No, no, I had Max with the Thermodyne engine. That's what it was. That's what they called it way back then. Well, and that's the thing. I had a one of my nurses that came out the other day, and uh, well, I have to, because I'm a diabetic and a few other things. I've got to watch myself travel, uh, and I'm not into the keto thing. Although I'm just eating healthy and that kind of sort of stuff. So I am trying to do that and trying to eat healthy. So I'm trying to uh, do the right thing. I'm trying to I have to be able to heal right in here from my breastbone and everything else. They've kind of cautioned me on that, so I don't get anything infected in there, because that would be tragic if this breastbone doesn't heal up right. So I have to be careful there. Well, I'm definitely off the carbs. I'll tell you that. I'm off the carbs, of sugar, the diet drinks, everything. Like I said, the only thing I'm drinking vitamin water right now, and it's zero sugar, zero. Uh, it has vitamin C and B in it, and it has zero of everything else. Zero fat, zero sodium, zero carb. No, 1% carb. Uh, zero everything. So this is just basically colored water, I guess, with a little bit of flavor. Yeah, and that's what I've been trying to do. Is I've been getting good healthy meals. I've been getting green vegetables, and my lettuce, my green beans, peas. I don't eat peas as much because they have a wow. Yeah, mine's not going up and down that much. My sugar is staying pretty constant, or low 100s down to 80 or 90, and I'm wanting to get the A1C down, so I can probably get off some of this insulin. I don't like taking shots. Yeah, I don't take anything with high fructose. Yeah, it's that's sugar. Fructose is sugar, so no, I don't do anything with if it says fructose on it. It's not going to be consumed by me. Yeah, yeah, you better be careful, Renegade, if it's fluctuating that much. And evidently, I was diabetic and didn't know it. So when I had this, they after they checked me in and did all this stuff, did all these tests, they said, "How long have you been diabetic?" I said, "I don't know." They said, "What do you mean you don't know?" I said, "Well, I wasn't diabetic when I came in. I didn't think." And they said, "Oh yeah, you're diabetic." And my A1C was 9 something, and it's supposed to be below 7. So I was definitely diabetic and didn't know it. Yeah, and that's what I got to eat: fresh vegetables and fruit. And I'm doing that. I'm eating a lot of fruit and trying my best to stay right on top of that. Well, guys, I about kicked my hour out here. I try to minimize this to about an hour, and I've done about an hour, and I've got some things that I actually got to do. I got to go work on my radio show. I'm back doing my radio show live. Well, not live. I'm taping it. So if anybody wants to tune in, I'll be on the air Tuesday morning. Let me put this on there. KTC Broadcasting. .com. If you see that, you go to that on 10 o'clock Tuesday mornings. You can catch me with Cruising in the Carolinas with Mike. Or if I did my DJ voice, I would say, let me get myself straightened out here. I would say something like, "Good morning, everybody. I'm Cruising in the Carolinas with Mike. I'm Mike Jones. And on WLON, WOHS in Shelby and Lincoln. I'm on 2 radio stations. and then I'll play the hits from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, or 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. So that's what I do. Me. Well, everybody have a good day. I'm gonna get off here and sign on out. Get ready for my next little venture, which is my radio show. Got to start it and go back to my home studio. So y'all take care. I'll catch you out here another time. See you guys.